welcome back to Yukikaze Gaming. Today we're going to do a fresh draft, premiere draft of Neon Dynasty Kamigawa. Last time you guys didn't get to see me actually draft on camera. So this time, you'll get to see the draft right from the very beginning. So naturally that means I'm probably going to bomb it horribly, but we'll see how it goes. While we're raiding around for a table, just a reminder of my experience. I have been playing Magic since I was a pretty small child. I've played, in a few Pro Tour qualifier events. Never did particularly well in those. Certainly win local tournaments on a fairly regular basis. Okay. Junji, the Midnight Sky. I mean, mythic rare right off the bat. Probably just gonna go ahead and grab this. Flying Menace, 5/5 for 5. Serious bomb. When it dies, each opponent discards 2 cards, loses 2 life. Put target non-dragon creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, you lose 2 life. I mean, yeah, there's not much to say about this card other than it's good. It's just very, very solid. The kind of thing that you expect from a straight-up Mythic Rare beater. Quick look at some of the other things on here, just to have some idea. Twist Embrace, sucks that we're missing that. The rest is pretty good. Uncharted Haven. Okay. So, yeah, we're definitely going with that, no question. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, draw a card. Interesting. It's a finishing move, quite literally. I'm a little bit hesitant on these just because the last time there was a sacrifice to give indestructible effect, the game bugged out and wouldn't let me use it. Don't really want a repeat of that, but that's a little spendy. Simian Sling. That's also yeah, I don't really know where to go with this. I mean, I definitely want to be in black here, but that's not that great of a black card. It'd be better if I were running control, which I don't imagine I am currently. Dragon Spirit. Kami versus Shadows will probably prove relevant. Wanderer's Intervention's pretty good. I could go with that. Reinforced Ronin is got some pretty good synergy with Ninjutsu, but I think I'm just gonna go with the black card. It's the only black card in here. Right now, we're, way at the start, but it's already looking like it's going to be pretty difficult for black. There's just so little of it. Target creature or vehicle from put 2 +1/+ encounters. Okay. Again, not ideal, but I really want to solidify my place in black. I don't want anybody else thinking that they can go into black. So basically I'm taking this to signal. The Sunblade Samurai is probably a better option here, but again, trying to stay in black. Really don't know that I'll actually be in white, I kind of grabbed the Selfless Samurai just because I didn't really have a whole ton of options there. Take this Infiltrator. Man, they are just not giving me a lot to work with here. Red is looking pretty open, so red may actually end up being my second color, but we'll see how things progress. I don't really like this whole attacking alone thing. Okay, so they reveal their hand either way. I can make them discard an online card. If I don't, I put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature vehicle. I have the option. I think a lot of the time I'm probably going to be going with the latter. I do like that it is useful even if they have no cards in hand. That's one of the main issues I usually take with card draw. Or, sorry, with discard effects. That's bad. This wins games, so not a big question of what to do there. Blue looking pretty open. Red still has some stuff. I think I'm going with the Uncharted Haven so I can have some fixing. I often don't end up with any fixing, which tends to be a little problematic for me. Might as well grab it while I have the opportunity. We can see that this tabled. I mean, there's a couple ways I could go here. I'm going to go with this just because, on the off chance I do end up in green, this is potentially very powerful for me. Just kind of all over the place. It seems like a different color is open every pack. I don't think anybody's really solidified yet, except maybe me. But there really wasn't a lot of black. I probably should have finished reading that other card, but oh well. Alright, well, at least it's my color. Probably just get rid of it, though. Let's see, only non-land card. Non-basic land card, I should say. What? Flying I mean, it's every color except the one I'm playing. But other than that, it's so good. Wow. I mean, that's like almost mythic quality with the flying trample. Yeah. Okay. I guess I just go with another Infiltrator. It does feel kind of sad not picking up that Kirin Spirit, but it is what it is. At least I'll have another flyer. And those are, in the event I don't end up in white, those are pretty important for ninjutsu. Alright. Twisted Embrace is pretty good. That's, moderate. I think the Twisted Embrace is definitely the way to go here. It's some pretty powerful removal, and it triggers modified and makes a creature stronger. It's just all kinds of good. A little expensive, but besides that. Okay. That's a pretty strong trick. I might go with that. Sunblade Samurai is pretty good, but I'm not necessarily in white. I don't know that I necessarily need a third Yukikaze Infiltrator, so I might just pass on that and go ahead with Return to Action to give you some options. What? Okay, so ideally you equip it after you attack, and then it becomes relevant on the next turn? It still seems pretty good. In its own way. It's kind of pricey, but +4/+0 that sticks around on the field, and it's an artifact to trigger effects. Could be pretty relevant. I might be undervaluing some of these vehicles. I don't generally really like vehicles very much. I feel like they're kind of, for the most part, overvalued. A lot of times they have a tendency to just kind of sit there on the field and not do anything, or they just kind of get immediately destroyed. So, vehicles I control have Menace. I honestly think this is better. At this rate, even though a lot of what I'm grabbing isn't really that great, there is a potential that I could end up in mono black, which would be pretty cool. Only because I don't have to worry about getting the right color of mana in my hands. That card sucks, though. Looking at probably grabbing that. Trample, Haste. It's a pretty good finisher. That Boar would have also been a good choice. Maybe better than this, given that I'd already drafted what I drafted. There's no black options. Normally I don't like these cards, but the draw card effect makes that a lot more useful. Yeah, kind of lean towards that just in case it becomes a reality. Target enchantment creature specific. Sacrifice. Okay, so... Oops. Did not mean to actually grab that like that. What is happening? I don't understand. All I did was click on it once and it auto-selected it. That is weird. I wasn't actually trying to pick either of those times. I was just trying to have it set as the default. But I ended up with those cards, so that happened. The Scrap Welder, that's not the worst thing. I just wanted time to look at the other options. I probably would have settled on it anyway, so oh well. Worst case, it's a red 3/3 for 3. This is pretty strong. Yeah, so it did it again. I don't understand why all of a sudden I can't click on a card without it selecting it. It seems to be some kind of UI bug that I've just run into. Got a couple of these already. What? Now it's not doing it anymore. Okay. I'm so confused. Huh. That could be really strong late game, not very useful early game. That seems pretty good. If I do go into red here, I probably want to have that available. I don't know if this or the boar is better right now. I feel like the boar might be better, or the Windscarred Crag to allow me to play Persona, but I don't think I'm gonna actually end up playing it. I just don't have enough. Too bad, because that would be cool to have, but that's the way the game goes. Sacrifice an artifact, deals 2 damage to target, 4 damage instead. So it's shock with some options to make it potentially better than shock. Shock is always worth running on its own, so no reason not to run that. That's a pretty good trick. This works well with modify. Guess I'll end up with another one of these. Just kind of running out of options here, which makes sense. We're near the end of the final pack after all. Okay, so we've definitely got a few things that we can immediately just pull out. And that's generally how I, make decks. It's how really most people make decks, is just sort of process of elimination. First phase here is just to remove anything that is in a color that I just clearly cannot run. So I don't have enough green, for instance, to potentially be in green, so I'm gonna get all the green out of here and just get it out of the way. So I still am at 50, generally speaking, in like 99.9% of the time, unless you're running some really weird specific strategy. Can I go ahead and set up to have the Ajani sleeves to go for Ajani? Generally speaking, 99% of the time, you want to be at exactly 40 cards in your deck. The less cards you have, the more likely it is that you're kind of drawn to the stuff that you actually want. So unless you're running some specific strategy that runs a particular risk of decking yourself or something like that, there's very rarely incentive to go above 40 cards. That is the first most common mistake that newbies typically make when putting their deck together. So I went ahead and got rid of an Inkrise Infiltrator just because I don't think I need 3 of them. I think... Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these as well. If I were running more like tokens, that's when this might be useful. If I had gotten that like Oni Anvil, for instance, then these could actually be quite good. But under the circumstances, I'm just gonna get those out of here. Probably don't need more than one of those. That's nice and aggro, which is good in black-red. I don't think I need 3 of these. I think I can drop down to 1 and be quite good. Likewise, I don't think I need 3 of those. Just 1 as a finisher is probably fine. I can probably cut one of these if I need to. This wasn't particularly good. Just kind of reviewing, I only need to cut one more card. It could definitely be that. But just to make sure I'm not missing something that's obviously an easy drop. Now, unfortunately, I really don't have any 1-drops, which is going to hurt me in black-red aggro, but it is what it is. And essentially, I'm using Junji as a finisher here. I could just as easily have gone control and, tried to just hold the board until he came out to use him as, a massive bomb. One problem with that approach, though, is if all I'm doing is delaying, then the opponent probably still has some kind of removal available by the time he hits the field, and some of that removal is pretty difficult to deal with. I wouldn't really have a way to get rid of an arrest effect, for instance. So I really feel like there was a black card that I'd wanted to cut more of, but now I can't find it, so maybe it's the one that I already cut earlier. So we'll go ahead and get rid of one of the Gifts of Wrath, and that's a deck. this effect could be used as a finisher, either by channeling or just using the creature itself. Kind of reminds me of that giant pig in Dark Souls for some reason. So we've got two of these guys that we can ninjutsu in onto, for instance, our flyers. Kami to bring some stuff back to life if we need to. Unfortunately, it will not work with Junji, but oh well. Basically, we're just aiming to burn down the opponent. We've got a couple ways of getting around their defenses. We can make a really big flyer with some equipment and fly in that way. We can just be straight up aggressive, or we can rely on things like Menace to kind of get around their defenses. This effect could end up being useful, but most likely it won't be, because I just don't have a lot of scenarios where I'd want to do that, unless, like, they destroy my enormous energy blade and I want to sacrifice my centipede to bring it back, or vice versa, something weird like that. I don't have something else I could sacrifice to get this back, so I don't see that coming into play. Alright. So now that we've got our deck set up, let's try a round or two and see how it goes. It's possible we'll need to make some adjustments, but I think we've done as pretty much as well as we can do deck construction phase. So I think if we do end up making any tweaks, they'll be pretty minor. Alright, we've got a mix of colors. We can cast practically everything in the hand. We don't have a lot of stuff that's cheaper than these to begin with. We've got some ninjutsu, not quite enough mana to activate it. Keep this. See if maybe we draw into a cheaper creature and then a land. That would be ideal. I think of flyers. Like, yep, there's a land. We did not get the flyer this time. So we're looking at our first drop on turn 3. The Simian Sling is interesting. I actually, if I knew I was going to be in red earlier, I would have drafted one of these before, but there weren't any coming around by the time that I was in red. I don't know how to feel about this. Okay. I think I just do this. Are they stuck at 2 elements? They might be. They might have kept a 2-land hand because they're in red and thought that would work out? No. Okay. interesting move. Okay, I don't have anything to lose by attacking here. Have 5 damage. And unfortunately for them, he doesn't get stronger for the modification on himself. That I do not like. That was painful. Okay. Doesn't have haste, so I could keep him as a blocker while I swing in for 5 damage. And then next turn, drop multiple creatures as blockers, and then swing in for damage. It's kind of the only path open to me at the moment. Junji dies, he'll still make them discard 2 cards and lose 2 life, which is still a net gain. And he won't want to attack with that Raiju, probably, because if they trade, then his Renegade gets smaller too. Tricks. That's not great for me. Smart. Yeah. That effect. I have to use that one. Now he has this too, but he doesn't have trample, so there's that. Okay. Attack, force him to block with Simian Sling, which he's almost definitely going to do. Wouldn't immediately die, but it put him dangerously low. And then we're gonna drop the Scrap Lumber, the Chemical chunk block the Thundering Raiju if he attacks with it. Which he'll probably be okay with. sense game. Because we have to double block here, and that 2 damage is going to come in. And that is why every life point counts. Our aggro deck got out-aggroed, so... what can we do to make it better? Is that worth having over Gift of Wrath? Probably is. Gift of Wrath is pretty expensive, and the trigger doesn't happen until it leaves the battlefield. What's our balance here? 15 creatures. That's pretty much around where you want it. Alright. I don't think I'm actually going to change anything. Really would be nice if I had some 1-drops on the deck that basically was what the tipping point was between the 2 decks. That and not getting an early 2-drop of any kind. Depending on how this goes, I might get rid of the card I was looking at for another Inkrise Infiltrator, but we'll see. Let's really fix it. They drop something with Defender Reach. It's kind of just my luck. That's, if they double block, I can return to action, kill off the Bamboo Grove Archer to at least get that out of my way. Even if the Imperial Samurai would otherwise die, he'll still be fine, and I'll gain some life out of it. By the way, if you're new to Magic, these kind of thought processes are what you should be having all the time. You always want to be planning out ahead, at least as far as you can. Unlike chess or something like that, you can't see everything that's on the board, so it's unrealistic due to something still being in the opponent's hand, not revealed to you. So it's unrealistic to plan ahead too far most of the time, but okay. Let's see what they do. Alright, double blocked. Unusual, but actually want that to die more. Which also gives me a blocker against their Coiling Stalker. Coiling Stalkers. Alright, well, they can crew the vehicle if he uses both of them, but then they won't be able to block anything. Yeah, if he blocks either of my menace creatures, both of his creatures die. That's a pretty good trade. Unfortunately, his Coiling Stalkers are probably about to get bigger, but oh well. If they do, then he leaves himself wide open. And that's probably game for me. Still can't block my Menace. He can block my Shadow Walker, but either way I'm going to drop another Shadow Walker, and he's going to be sad. So... tried to put both of his counters on one Coiling Stalker, which does not work. I don't think he understood how that functions. Jitsu. for consistency's sake, there are reasons why I want to have, I think there are reasons why I want to have a enchantment around, and I don't have a lot of them, so I think I'm going to keep the Gift of Wrath, but I don't have as much synergy for this as anticipated. I think I'm going to drop it for an additional Inkrise Infiltrator. I don't necessarily want to get more than one of these, but having at least one of them early on is very helpful to me. The main issue here is I do not have any 1-drops, and that gives me another 2-drop. I don't have a lot of 2-drops currently. So hopefully that will help me stay more consistent with these runs. I could also get rid of the Ambitious Assaults, but I have a feeling that'll prove useful to me as a finisher. The Steelbreaker might still be... We'll do some more testing, see how it goes. But what I've been finding is even when I get the Steelbreaker in my hand, I don't necessarily want to run it. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and cancel the match there, just because we're kind of out of time. So thank you for joining me. Please, if you enjoyed what you saw here, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I would really benefit from having more subscribers. So thanks in advance if you decide to do that. And it will also give you the opportunity to see my content if you enjoyed it as soon as it comes out, and to allow you to kind of come on the journey as I grow and learn how to do all these streaming and YouTubing things. See you all next time.